And that's something that I feel like we're getting more of these days. People having glass jaws. People used to not be able to be triggered. And you know what triggering people really is? It's pushing a button. It's pushing a button that makes them wild out. And people used to not have so many buttons that would make them wild out. There's a whole bunch of buttons that you can press on a person. Rock with me for a second. You poke at people. You know, you poke fun. You make jokes. You know this, that, and the third. You can verbally jostle somebody. Really, in fact, that was roughhousing where I was growing up in my house. We didn't physically roughhouse. We verbally roughhoused.
Okay. We didn't have that at my home. There was a lot of physical abuse going on, especially when... No,
Lord of mercy.
Back. There was a lot of
you are a
physical abuse
kickball.
when it came to a lot of physical abuse when it came to video games as well.
Oh,
it's like,
mercy.
It was like me and my brother lived out in the sticks, so there we didn't really have a whole lot of people to pick from when it came to competition. And he always wanted to play games with me for whatever reason.
Oh, mercy. Well, I mean, you're his brother.
Go easy on him. I did not go easy on him.
You're terrible.
Man, you remember back in May? I remember back in Melee, I was washing the floor with him.
He's like, okay, you want to play? Put them dukes up.
Mom!
He's like, bruh, you only lost one stock.
Stop it!
Like, don't ask me to play the game with you and then say stop. But hold on, because we're getting further away from something that I wanted to talk about. You can verbally jostle somebody. People have things that they don't want you to bring up, and like that's their button. You don't press their button. Like the black community, a lot of people in the black community come with a pre-installed N-word button.
Are you sure that's not taught? I'm pretty sure that's taught.
Listen. Of course it's taught. Listen to what I'm saying though. It's like whether or not a button being installed on you can be taught or something that's just kind of like not your thing, your own little personal pet peeve. That's besides the point.
Okay.
There's these buttons that can be pressed. Personally, I have most of my buttons uninstalled. They don't work anymore. That was my personal mission. Whereas given the places that I want to go in conversation and given the things that are probably going to be brought up in the harder conversations that are mandatory to have, it is best if you uninstall them buttons. But what's going on is that now people aren't being taught to cut those buttons off. In fact, what they're being taught is that the world can change its heart, Alicia Cara. No, the world will bend to fit to where it's like none of your buttons will ever be pressed. It's like, no, you need to be ready to have that button worn out.
Right.
You need to be ready for people to walk up and bash your shit 10 times.
It's like you got 7 billion people in the world, all have their own different lives, different goals, different perspectives, and any one of them could be the one that presses your buttons. It'd be smarter in order to prepare yourself for that moment in time. Because just going through life expecting to avoid all that shit just sounds like it sounds like a bad idea.
So now we have people that they're just walking with a plethora of buttons. And like those are the people that can be triggered. They don't have any training with dealing with those buttons. In fact, they're just taught people shouldn't touch these buttons.
But they will. Those buttons will be touched.
So when they do, it's like, ah! It's like, no, come on. It's like, come on. You are literally boxing yourself out of potential topics and conversations. Like when they say, how people say words are violence. You've never been in violence. You've never been in violence if you say words are violence.
Never truly, no.
WWF was popping back when I was like 4 or 5, and I went to a school that had pre-K all the way up through 12th grade, all on the same campus in close proximity. WWF was really popular before it became WWE. I mean, it only got more popular, but you know what I'm saying. It was really popular, and a lot of kids were watching that stuff. And what they did not know is that a lot of that stuff going on TV was acting. They were doing wrestling moves on children that were easy to pick up.
Right.
It's like, if you are trying to tell me that words are violence, you have not experienced violence. And it's like, it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop with people saying words are violence. They're trying to say that certain words can make people vulnerable to violence. Are you trying to say that there are conversations that are forbidden because it automatically causes physical harm to people?
That is something that is being said. It's like you talking about certain things, you triggering people with these specific words is harming people. Some would say you would even go as far as to actually killing people because of these words.
That's a lie.
It is, but it's a lie that is very prevalent and gets preached often.
I want to know who believes this. I want to meet it's all right. So I want to meet the person that never changed anything about them ever at all, ever. And I also want to meet the person that has taken on physical harm from words or a certain conversation taking place. I want to meet both of those individuals, because I want to understand that superpower where it's like somehow I just came out fitting the mold, or like the other person where it's somehow I just have the superpower of being physically reactive whenever I hear something verbal. My body takes on damage if certain words are used. I want to meet that person so I can fully understand what it is that we're dealing with.
Then you'll end up with those people that want to say that like the emotional trauma that they experience from said word is physical damage. They're gonna play word games with you and be like, "No, this is damage." Then what do you mean? It's not
like that's
damage.
not physical damage. In fact, you should be thanking your body that it reacted like that for you. When you hold your hand over a hot stove, can you imagine if your body didn't tell you something's hot close by?
There are some people that have that little trick of their body.
Yeah, I've actually heard about it. I don't know what it's called. But that's why I brought it up. It's like, can you imagine how inconvenient it would be if your body didn't let you know something's up in the immediate area?
And even not that, just like your general bodily functions. Like imagine having to live by a timer on your hand telling you when to go piss.
Oh man, that sucks. Oh wait, that really sucks. It's like people need to be properly trained. You trying to say that these emotional feelings are causing physical harm? No, you just lack training to the point that some words almost folded you.
Words of all things.
Right.
Now,
you need to train that. You need to make that stronger. I came from a house that's like, physical was non-existent in my house. So every interaction came verbally.
Now you know what? Hold on a second. Now let's think about that though. It's like you had to train yourself in order to be able to take those hits. So if you lack the training, those things do still hit you on a technical scale. Would you agree or disagree?
It doesn't physically hit. Why? It's like I guess you would have to use a different word other than hit. It doesn't physically hit, but it's like you feel it.
Yes.
Like okay.
I think that's what they're focusing on.
Wait, have you ever been in a classroom with where someone just drops like a smart bomb insult? They hit somebody with an insult so hard that it shakes the classmates that it wasn't even meant for.
Oh yeah, I don't remember them, but I know I've at least seen it.
Those insults that'll make me look up from my book. It's like this.
It's like, dang.
That's why people could smell your coochie from down the hall. It's like, oh. He's like, hey, what y'all doing over there?
Yeah, teacher, I'm pretty sure that's abuse. Hold up.
Dang, why did you do that? So it's like, all right. So, but that's what I'm talking about. The roughhousing didn't come physically; it was verbally. But you need to be built for that. It's like you have to be hardened toward it. You taking it completely out of the equation, you become squishy, and that's what makes you so easily triggered. So it hinders you. That's what I'm trying to get to. It hinders you. You don't have the strength required to have certain conversations, and that hinders you in the long run. That means we can't talk about certain things. If the answer to a problem is inside of a hard conversation, people aren't going to be able to have it. So you never find the answer.